Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk HBCUs. I'm your host, Mike Patton, or co-host Mike Patton. Of course, my co-host, Scott Wallace. What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing going on, man. Just tired. Just a lot going on. All these sports starting. You know how it is. And over there on 17th Avenue, DB Todd, man, it's jumping. So I'm busy, but I'm happy to talk. Happy to have the guest that we have on today, man. I'm
Yes, yes,
excited
yes.
about this show.
Let's not make the people wait any longer. We've got a very special guest on the show, a person that has made history in HBC. We're going to get to that
Herstory,
history as well.
herstory, not history. Herstory.
History. I'm sorry. Let me get it right. I'm sorry, Scott. Let me get it right. Okay. All right, Scott. But yeah, definitely, you said it correct. You said it correct. I don't want to butcher saying it because I'm over here trying to think about how to say everything. But never mind. But made say it again, Scott. Say it again for me, Scott.
Her story.
Her story.
Thank you.
Her
I was
story.
over here trying to say it and I was getting tongue tied. Like
That's that UT Martin education. That's what that is.
See, I knew you was going there. I knew you was trying to go there.
Whoa.
We're gonna talk about somebody that did get a UT Martin education on this show anyway. But anyway, Ty, thank you for coming on the show. Greatly appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. I'm excited.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, of course, Saturday was the first Legacy Series game this past Saturday between Alabama A&M and Tennessee State. It was 23-21. Alabama A&M takes the first game. And I have to say the star of the game, to me, was Quad Brown, the quarterback from Alabama A&M, via UT Martin, via Georgia State as well. I mean, hey, he was 21-33, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns out there. And for the season, he's throwing for a career high 64% in passing, 719 yards, 5 touchdowns, is yet to be picked. So how impressive! I mean, Ty, you get a front row seat to him. How impressive is it watching him play?
It's extremely impressive to watch him play. And I just think that right now he's playing in a system and with coaches and teammates that really embrace who he is and allow him to play in his style of play, which has ultimately contributed to the success that he's had so far this season. I think it's lost on a lot of people that when you're just in a great environment, that it does so much for you. And when you look at, just life in general, right? Plants can't grow in soil that is not enriching them. So, Quad went out in the Legacy Series, played with real command, over 200 passing yards. He's using his legs, showing off his duality. He had A&M moving the ball with rhythm early, which gave the team confidence. And then even after he went out, you could see the stamp that he put on the game in which he set the tone. And so I think this game just showed how important he is to our offense. And I really can't wait to see how he continues to command and lead the team moving forward. It's his last year. And, he wants to go out with a bang and with some hardware on his hands.
Now, Scott, I know you saw some of Quad's highlights in this game. And of course, I asked the head coach of Alabama A&M about him. But I want to ask you, the highlights you saw, what did you think of Quad Brown on the field?
What I was most impressed with was with Quad and the team was that they didn't give up that first half. It was kind of in the mud a little bit, but they did not give up, and I was impressed about that. And Quad, being a 7-year veteran, I mean that speaks volumes. He's playing against guys that are 18, 19, and he's not, and they're showing that experience, not giving up. The dual threat that he is, as Ty was talking about, that being a dual threat puts pressure on the defense. You try to keep in the pocket, he gets out of the pocket, he makes plays. Your your cornerbacks may be covering, but he still makes a play with his legs. So that, as a former defensive player, I know how much that hurt TSU. And it wears you down, and you get to the fourth quarter. You had a lead, you're trying to hold on, But you're thinking in yourself, this guy's gonna make one more play, and he did. And I was just impressed with Quad. I was looking forward to hearing him because we talked about him last week. I'm looking forward to seeing him play and playing against our defense. I'm impressed with what TSU was trying to do, what they did, but it was just he showed the superiority that he had with his legs and with his arms as well. I'm very impressed. I was very impressed.
Yeah, he definitely did his thing. He did his thing. But now you mentioned, of course, them coming back and them, staying within, in the fight. Yep. TSU did look pretty good in the first half. Closed the half with that touchdown. Byron McNair rolling out to his right, floats it down the sideline. Kendrick Rhymes falling on his back, catches a pass. Some people thought it was a catch, some people don't. But hey, the ref said it was, and it is what it is at that point. But the second half, boy, oh boy, like the clamps got put on the TSU offense. Byron McNair was kind of running for his life. Now, I will say, folks, Byron McNair is not related to Steve McNair, by the way. Just want to get that out of the way. But that offense could not move at all in the second half. I got to ask, Ty, what did you see different from the Alabama A&M defense the first half, the second half, that just caused them to just clamp down on the TSU offense? I mean, it was pretty evident and amazing to me. It's just they could not move the football at all, and it looked like it just looked like they were confused or couldn't figure out what A&M was doing defensively.
I think that it really speaks to the experience of our coaching staff to be able to make those adjustments at halftime. Yep. When you look at our coaching staff, we have Chris Schelling, Auburn, NFL experience, Marco Coleman, Georgia Tech, NFL experience. You have guys like Ronald McKinnon, who was like one of the best Division II football players. I hate that I keep forgetting the award that he won, but I believe he is the only Division II player to ever win, even to this day. And so I think that when you have a break in the game and guys can kind of rest their feet, their minds, and I know that the coaching staff is able to make adjustments, they can go in and tighten up the coverages. They can go in and tackle better, especially in space. And I think that with Arkansas and Alcorn, our previous opponents before the Legacy Series, there's an issue with stopping the run. So that was definitely something that we had to do because, McNair and Rhymes, I was calling their names a lot in the first half. And so we were able to kind of control that a little bit. But yeah, I think the second half, they definitely showed the resilience. Tennessee State didn't score. And offensively, simplifying the game plan and leaning on the run to control the tempo. We have a great running back room led by Jamal Fox. And so I think that those were some of the key adjustments, especially defensively. And knowing Chris Schelling, I bet if I took my headset off, I could probably hear him from the other side because that's just how much he yells and how much he talks. But the one game that I did get to stand on the sideline, the constant theme or the constant thing that was harped on was everyone do your assignments. Everyone do your job. Everyone do what you're supposed to do. And I feel like when everybody does that, then we're able to move on all cylinders.
Scott, did you expect the Tennessee State offense to look as stuck in mud as they did in the second half of that game?
Well, just like Ty said, with Sam, she didn't mention Sam Shade too, that the head coach was a defensive player in the NFL. I figured that they would figure it out. TSU wasn't doing anything special. They just were executing in the first half. And when you're executing and you don't make those adjustments, when you don't have anything, a trick play here or there or something like that to kind of take the balance it out a little bit, they're gonna figure it out. Eventually they're gonna figure it, and they figured it out in the second half. And when you not putting the team away, not going up by more than a few points, you keep guys in the game. You dominated the first half, they stayed in the game, and then they figured it out, and then the offense figured it out. And because the defense always spears on the offense. When your defense makes a play, the offense then gets generated, or a special teams play, or energize the other part. So when you let teams stay in the game like that, they will eventually figure it out. Then you're not a pressure's on you. You go 3 and out. And then you start thinking about it. You get to the sideline, your coaches are upset or whatever it is. So I figured they was going to figure it out. I figured that second half was not going to be the same. And TSU has to, in the future, figure out a way to be able to make adjustments, even though you may be in a lead or even though you may be playing well, to adjust to what somebody else is going to do to you.
Right, right. Now speaking of adjustments, Byron McNair, first start as a Tennessee State Tiger. He was 17 to 27, 157 yards, 1 touchdown. He hit some passes, in terms of, kind of a little bit of a scramble drill or on the move. When he had to drop straight back, kind of the timing passes, he was a little off on those, a little to the right sometimes or a little to the left. But all in all, was an interesting performance in terms of, the first half to the second half. As far as what you saw from him, Ty, what did you think about his performance in terms of against that Alabama A&M defense, just in general?
I think that Tennessee State got them a damn good quarterback. And I think that this whole system is new. Reggie Barlow regime is new. But as soon as this team really, finds their footing and continues to gel, he's gonna thrive. He's gonna be great. For his first start, I think he showed flashes and definitely made some big plays in the first half to give TSU the lead. Very good on his feet. Like you said, the timing of throws, all of those things are to be expected in someone who is young. But, when Alabama A&M, the big dog defense adjusted, he had trouble finding that rhythm. And I think it was a good learning experience for him, and he'll only continue to grow from it. And you can see that the talent is there, but I think now it's just all about the consistency against a good defense and the defenses that he'll continue to see as the season goes on.
Now, Scott, in the previous games, we had saw Jonathan Palmer, who's the nephew of Carson Palmer. He was the guy that started the first game. And then in the second game, you saw 3 quarterbacks, including, of course, Byron McNair. And then you got Caleb McCurry and Palmer as well. And then this game, you only saw McNair. So how surprised were you to actually see? I know in the booth, we were surprised to see that Byron McNair was the starter and played the entire game. So how surprised were you when you saw that news?
Well, when I listened to the question that you asked Coach after the game, was he the man from now on? And it sounded like he is. So he must be doing something in practice to make the team feel like they can trust him. And having those, having the 3 players play quarterbacks against North Dakota State. If you have 3, you don't have none. That's what it sounds like to me. But then it sounds like they want to try to go, all right, we're going to go with McNair. And as we saw in the first half, it looked like that was a good thing. Maybe if the adjustment would have been made to bring in Palmer to kind of change things up a little bit, but they didn't do it. They want to stick with him. I guess they're saying, let's get ready. I mean, it still was in the game, but let's get ready for the the conference. Well, I forget, Big South, OVC, whatever it is.
It's the Alphabet Conference. It's called the Alphabet Conference, man.
Let's get ready for that. Let's get McNair ready for that, and and one of the things about a quarterback, and that's the most important position on the team. So you got to give him you got to not only give him confidence, but you got to have the team has to have confidence in that quarterback as well. So letting him play the whole game not only gave him confidence, but gives the team confidence in him as well, give the coaching staff confidence. So that's why, as we all were surprised, but I believe that's why they did that, which is a smart move, honestly, because yes, Alabama A&M is a supporting games, Legacy Series, it's an HBCU right up the street, an hour away. You want to have the bragging rights, but this is a long season. We're 1-2 and haven't played a conference game yet. So let's get ready for conference, and they got a bye week this week. Let's get ready for conference. That's why I think, even though we all were surprised that we didn't see, we were waiting on him to pull in Palmer, but it didn't happen. And second half, I think that he should have at some point brought him in just to change things up, just to make Sam Shade think a little bit, and the defense think of defense coordinators think a little bit when you bring in a different quarterback. So, but they didn't. So, and we are where we are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Of course, last thing I want to talk about the crowd, the
Yeah.
energy, the atmosphere. I would say, being that it is a pro stadium, you're probably not going to see it look as packed as it probably should be. Just even if you have like 20,000 people in there, you're still not going to see it as packed as it probably was. But it's a pretty good crowd. The crowd was kind of participating. It seemed like the energy was there, and it seemed like just everybody was in tune with the game as opposed to being caught up in everything else. Did you feel some of that energy, Ty, when you were up there calling the game, or was it just kind of ebbs and flows to you?
I mean, it was definitely a lot of energy. For us at Alabama A&M, the way that we get our crowd noise is by sticking a microphone kind of like in this slot that's in our box. With the Nissan Stadium being an open air stadium and us being able to open the windows, it was very loud. And it was, I kind of went to our engineer and I was like, hey, can you turn down the crowd noise? And he was like, that's just coming through your mic. That's not, we don't have the microphone the microphone attachment. And I was like, oh God, the aristocrat of bands was so loud. And then, with it being Greek Day and the Divine Nine was well represented there, just the crowd that Tennessee State has. And then even with Alabama A&M fans traveling was so cool. And I really enjoyed just seeing the atmosphere and being a part of it. I think the one sad part about me being up in the booth now is not being on the sideline and being able to feel that electricity, but it's still really cool. And being that it's the first Legacy Series matchup, both schools, both fan bases knew that history was being made and fans from both sides really show out. You could feel that extra on the field. And I feel like that kind of stage raises the level of play, and you could tell it meant something to everyone involved. For our guys, there's quite a few of them that have pro aspirations. So to be able to play in a stadium that big, to be able to play in a stadium where there are guys like Eddie George and Steve McNair, your new guys like Jeff Simmons and Cam Ward, to be able to play in the same stadium as them is awesome. So I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what the turnout is when they come to Alabama A&M, just because our stadium is a lot smaller. And with it being just a jump, skip, and a hop up the road, I'm sure that the fans are going to travel, and it's going to be really cool to see.
One thing you talk about the fans traveling ties, that's what TSU fans do. They'll go. They'll go to Atlanta. They'll go to Las Vegas. They'll go to wherever. I mean, they went to Howard's homecoming last year. They went to DC. They just don't come to Nissan Stadium too much, I guess. But they will come.
Oh,
They'll take buses. They went to Notre Dame. I mean, it's crazy to me that they would do that, and it's the alumni. That's and all that. But I was impressed too. You talked about the aristocratic bands. I saw a video of your guys' bands coming in or leaving the stadium. That band was huge, a big band. I was impressed by that, and want to say the bands and the atmosphere. It's just different at a HBCU. Even me being at Fisk, I tell people all the time for the basketball games, having the DJ and having different things that we do that they don't do at PWIs. And I know you went to FAMU, so I know about how the atmosphere is in a football game and all that. So I'm always impressed. Me and my co-host, we went to PWIs, and so we had to get used to it. but I was impressed by that too. And they will travel, so get ready for the TSU Blue to coming down to Huntsville.
I'm excited and I love it. I mean, that was my first introduction to Alabama A&M, was me coming up here when FAMU actually joined the SWAC. And my best friend from college, she's an engineer. And if you don't know about Huntsville, for those that are watching, Huntsville is like literally tech, airspace, NASA's here, the military is here. There's tons of engineering corporations, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, all here. And so I came to visit her and I went to the game, and that Florida A&M travel. And I was very shocked to like see our side was so orange and green. So I'm excited to, look out from the press box next year and see, Tennessee State Tigers and feel that electricity and that energy. Although it was great, I feel like it's going to be even more amplified at Alabama A&M, just given, the size of our stadium, all of the HBCU culture, tailgating. So I'm excited.
I'm going to have to make that trip.
Shout out to Dr. Paul Bryant for this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to make the trip to Alabama A&M. I've never been there, so I want to go. So
yeah, well,
right down the road.
I spent a lot of time in Huntsville because of Fisk. We have a team in our conference. Oakwood is in our conference, so I go to Huntsville a whole lot. So I like it. I like going to Huntsville. It's a nice town. I never have any issues there. Everybody's nice and all that. But speaking of Florida A&M, so during the game, one of TSU's former Florida A&M Rattler Leland Wilhoit had a nice kickoff return, and so I wanted to say that to Mr. Patton, because I've been talking about Leland since the beginning of the year. So he did show something, and that's his mother is a very good friend of mine, and shout out to you, Leland, and shout out to the rest of the season. He played for Florida A&M 2 years ago, so he's running back for them. So I don't know if you heard of him before, but he's from here.
Yep, he it's so funny because I was watching just some of our content that we did with the Celebration Bowl when Florida A&M went, and he was in the video. And so when I saw his name, I kept calling his name on the roster. I was like, I know who this is. And then I looked out at my chart, and it literally said Florida A&M. And I was like, wow, this man, guys, I'm glad that he's in a space where, he can thrive. And he definitely did have that huge return. He did a great job, actually, the entire game. Special teams, he was definitely a name to call, a person to watch. So shout out to him. Congrats.
All right. Well, we have wrapped up talking about.
We didn't say what her story was. I want her to share her story, the history.
What's that?
We said.
Are we getting there? Are we getting there? That's up next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's actually up next.
My bad.
No. We ain't done yet. We were just wrapping up the Alabama A&M and Tennessee State portion of the show. But of course, this next portion is all about you, Tom. We're going to talk about your journey. So as far as everything, how does it feel? For those that don't know, Ty is history. She is history, by the way. She is the first woman herstory. Let me get it right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, both of y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But how does it feel to just be the first woman to be the play-by-play voice at an HBCU?
I mean, hey, it's a blessing and an honor. It's a blessing and an honor for me. I mean, for me, it was kind of like, I don't want to say it was work, but it was such an exciting accomplishment for me because play-by-play is something that I've always wanted. Well, I won't say always wanted to do, but the past couple of years I've wanted to get into. And when the story came out, I knew that Florida A&M would say something nice, like the community. I knew that Rattler Nation would say something. I knew Bulldog Nation would say something. They embraced me so well. But my story ended up on Awful Announcing, which, although its name is crazy, it's actually a great platform to be featured on. Awful Announcing, Revolt, HBCU Go, and it just kept going and kept going and kept going. I was doing interviews with publications, radio, people that are out in LA, people that are up in New York, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. But it feels great to be in this position and to be in the number. I mean, when you look at the number of women who do play-by-play for football, it's extremely low. And when you look at just the statistics across the 6 major sports leagues, Black women make up 0.8%. So that's very, very small. And so for someone like me and someone like Simone Stanley, who also just did her first game for ESPN Plus on SIEC, is amazing. And I'm grateful for this journey. You know, Buddy Pugh calls me one of Tiffany's proteges. So he always says when he sees me. So to know that I'm really walking in, her footsteps to do this is amazing.
my wife is a reporter. She's an anchor and reporter, and she's done some first two at the local station here at Fox and some other things. She's won Emmys and all that. But one of the things that she says, Ty, is that she does it, and she does it with everything because she knows there's some little girl out there watching her. Is that the same mindset you have? You know that some little girl is out there watching and may want to follow in your footsteps.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's a great question. And shout out to your wife, because
Thank you.
it's women like her that I stand on the shoulders of. But I would say, yeah, it definitely that hits me very hard, because I had an outpour of young women and girls who were congratulating me and saying how inspiring that this is and how inspiring my journey is. And it means something to me. It means something to me that people know that you can accomplish your dreams and chase it. It means something to me that in my future, when I'm calling games on ESPN for ACC Network, we're going to speak it out there. You know, I'm an ACC baby. But when I'm calling those games, that, you know, there'll be a young girl who is maybe watching TV with her dad and will be like, oh my God, I want to be like her. So that definitely does mean a lot to me. And especially for, you know, our Black women and girls, if it wasn't for Tiffany Green, Pam Oliver, Lisa Salters, those women, like, I wouldn't have, I don't think I would have been able to see myself here. So I definitely do take that to heart for sure.
I'm gonna call you out a little bit, even though I'm gonna show. This is the reason why I said ask the question. Right before we got on, everybody, she made sure that her lipsticks was right, and you know she was making sure she was straight. And my wife always talks about, and it was a funny story that she was out by the courthouse one day doing a live shot, and in the middle of her live shot, because she's always together, some lady comes up during the live shot and fixes her hair, because she's like, oh, we know you always together, so I want to make sure in the middle of the live shot. and I said that because that's one of the things that she said. She spends all my money on coats and makeup and all these things. So she makes sure, and one of the things that, so I wanted to, because it reminded me of that you make sure that you are correct. Now, me and Mike, we just came on, we barely brushed our teeth, but we on here. But I appreciate the fact that you made sure that you were correct all the way through.
And, I
want to call you out on that.
I had my purse here, I had all of my glosses and my compact mirror, and then I sat down and I was like, okay, let me take the shine out, and then I was like, all right,
we really appreciate. I mean, that right there lets us know that you're ready, and I really appreciate that. I wanted to call you out, but I wanted to share that with people so they know that you make sure that you're straight all the way. So that's great.
Mm-hmm. Always.
All right, now I do want to ask. You know, we get the history that has been made, but what can you take us to kind of the backstory of how this opportunity even came about?
Yeah, so when I got to Alabama A&M, well, let me take it back to 2024. My first time doing play-by-play was at the CIAA basketball tournament in Baltimore, and the CIAA wanted to try me out at play-by-play and color commentary, and I was scared because I never done it before. But I was with Tarika Foster Brasby, who just empowered me and made me believe that I could do it.
Tarika is awesome.
She's amazing. So after that, I kind of like just thought about my career, my trajectory, where I wanted it to go, how I wanted everything to look, and what I really wanted to do. And when you look at the window of women who want to do sideline, it's very broad. And I don't think that it's necessarily, you know, women and girls' fault, because that's the only role that we've ever really been in. That's where all the representation lies. And so I was like, I want to do play-by-play. I want to do it in football. How am I going to do this? I was trying to figure everything out. And when I got to Alabama A&M, the role was already occupied, but I made sure to just kind of put it in everyone's ear. This is what I wanted to do. I sent out like at least a cold email to all the conferences, really just FCS conferences specifically, just telling them what I wanted to do. And because I didn't have the experience, you know, people were kind of weary about taking a chance on me, and I understand that. And so when the position came available at Alabama A&M, after like a whole lot of time of me hammering it in on everybody, Dr. Paul Bryant, Brian Howard, everyone, just telling them what I wanted to do, they were like, I got a call one day. I think I was on the way to like Starbucks or Panera or something. They're like, yeah, if you want the job, you got it. And I was like, yeah, of course. Just keeping it real, even keel. We're like, yeah, of course. Thank you. I'm so excited. I called my mama and I was like, girl, woo! I was like, yeah, girl, I'm gonna go get me a chocolate croissant and celebrate. I was so excited. And yeah, I'm here now. So that was pretty much how that came about. I tell everybody all the time, there's no secret sauce. I don't do anything special. I literally tell people what I want. I write down what I want. I pray to God and let him know what I want. And then I sit in expectation that it's going to happen for me. And it did.
You just made the proclamation that you're going to be on. We're going to be watching and keeping up. And don't forget about us when you're doing ACC games and games and SEC. Don't forget about us now, okay?
Never.
We're going to be cheering, but don't forget, don't be acting like, don't be big timing us now. Come on.
Never.
Well, last week,
I saw my guy. I had like 2 cups of water in my hands because I was I was parched. I'm like walking through and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm just sitting here trying to hug him and talk to him with these waters. I show love to my people.
All right.
And he was like I'm like, yeah, we're just sitting there having a conversation like during halftime of the Legacy series. And I'm like, yeah, oh my God, hey, you could have called me so I could be on the show. I'm so sorry. I take care of my people. Trust me.
All right. Now, what Alabama A&M is doing a lot with diversity because last week we had their public address announcer who's part of my team, Corey Terrell, a white gentleman, and he said that he was told that he didn't think that they were going to give him a job because he was white, but he was just that good. Alabama A&M when I said, well, man, we're gonna give him the job, and the same thing with you. I appreciate A&M and Dr. Paul Bryan and those people Dr. Howard. That are willing to do not care about what somebody looks like or what the norm is and doing that. And I see, with you and Corey, that is a combination of what they're doing, and we really appreciate it. Listen, I'll be down there for Oakwood, and then also Fisk plays A&M in basketball. Are you doing play-by-play for basketball too, or just football?
Basketball season, I won't be doing play-by-play, but let's stay tuned. Let's just say stay tuned for what I'll be doing basketball season.
I'll be there. I will be there. I'm assistant athletic director for Fisk. I don't know if Mike told you that, but
I saw your hat and I was like,
yeah, I'll be there. And I'm very proud of my HBCU.
I know that's right.
All right, well, I did have one other question for you. Since you kind of dove into it, you said you called your mom and you got excited on the phone. So how did all the family take it when you told them the news about your historic hire?
It's funny because my mom actually said it. She was like, I be hearing you. Like I be listening, but I don't really be hearing you. And she said that after like the news kind of spread like wildfire, and she was like, I didn't know how. Like I think all of us were super shocked. All of us were like, this is going crazy. But my parents were very excited. My siblings were also very, very excited. Like I said, this is something that I've been wanting to do. And, your family, they see you through all of your different seasons and all of your accomplishments and all the things that you've been trying to do and accomplish. For me, how can I say? I mean, like I literally have worked multiple jobs, like 2-3 part-time jobs to invest in the dream, like working like 2 jobs, waking up at 3 to get to work at 4. 4 o'clock, working from 4 to noon, clocking out, taking like a little break, going to my next job, working from like 1 to 6 or maybe 2 to 6, and then doing it all over again the next day, leaving out on a Thursday morning or evening to go cover a game, and then come back and do it all over again. And so my family has seen me through all of that stuff. So to see me kind of really accomplish everything and just rack up accomplishments and make history, they're very excited for me. My mom and dad listen to every game. My dad gives me very, very solid critiques, and I take it and I run with it. And he knows how it's supposed to go. I mean, my dad has worked with Gene Deckerhoff, voice of the Seminoles, voice of the Buccaneers, Jeff Colhane both of them have been extremely supportive of my career as well. So yeah, my family is very, very excited to see where this journey takes me. And I'm excited to see my dad on press level. I'm going to speak it out into the universe. I'm excited to see my dad on, level 9 at Doak Campbell Stadium and walk past his booth and be like, "Hi, Dad," and then go on and be on ACC Network on TV. So
yeah,
it's going to happen.
we speaking that.
Yeah.
We said that. We're speaking that. And now when you see me down in Huntsville, and I know you're gonna remember my name, but just everybody calls me Unc. They don't remember my name. So I'm Unc. I'm at Unc level now. So you just call me Unc. And I'll be happy.
Listen, I'm just now really getting to go to all the restaurants. And mind you, I've been here for a year, but now like I'm able to like go to the restaurants and explore the city. So like you and me, we're gonna go to Burritt on the mountain. We're gonna go to the Martin downtown. We're outside. We can go to Providence, which is over by Oakwood, because I know that's where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know when I want you to meet my wife. I think that she would love. I'm sure she'd love to meet you. And I mean, I just texted her. She's not watching. She usually watches the show. She always has something to say. Now she must be asleep. We have had a long week, but I'm really excited for my wife to meet you, so she can share some things with you.
Please.
And when you say the same thing, that the things, the pitfalls she had to go through, the things she went to Hampton, and she went to, so it's a lot of the same things, and I would really love for her to be able to pour into you and you pour into her. I'd really enjoy that. And she's a veteran in the game now, so and she's somebody that's gonna tell you, just like your dad, tell you the truth. She's also she's a teacher as well. She's a professor. She does a lot, but I would love for you to meet her, and when we come down there, I'm gonna look you up.
Please, you can share my contact info and we're gonna hang out. That's awesome. There's so many parallels. I'm listening to you. I start teaching next week. I'll be co-teaching the sports journalism class here at Alabama A&M. I'm really excited for it because that's actually what I want to do. I don't know where my career is going to take me. I know that I'll hit the network level one day, but it's a grind. It's a steady grind. And I just don't want to have to go back to working at the ice cream shop or in the fitness center. I will be utilizing my master's degrees teaching. So that's awesome. So I definitely would love to connect with her and with you as well.
Good. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, I will say, Ty, it was great having you on the show. It was great hearing from you again and seeing you and seeing all the success you've had. Definitely been keeping up with your career and the things you've been doing over time, and it's just great to see you just keep rising up a level every time that I see you, every year that grows around as well. If you can, tell everyone where they can find you on social media or where they can find all of your work and where they can listen to the play-by-play.
Absolutely. So to start with keeping up with me, you can follow me on Instagram, Thai A Floyd, THAIA FLOYD. On TikTok and X, formerly known as Twitter, it's Thai Ali Floyd, THAIALI FLOYD. My website, Thai Floyd On Air, will be back up October 1st. Holding myself accountable. That's why you'll be able to find all of my work, weekly highlights, newsletters, all of that good jazz. And then to listen to the play-by-play broadcast, you can go to wjb.org or you can go to the Alabama A&M football website and it'll redirect you exactly to where you can listen to me. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Greatly appreciate hearing about your journey and, of course, talking about the game that happened this past weekend as well, where unfortunately Tennessee State was unsuccessful in falling to 1-2. But it's good news for Alabama A&M though, but just not for Tennessee State.
Reggie Barlow is a dang good coach. Yeah. He really is, and when he can, really get settled, and it's all been very abrupt for him. I feel like so once he can really get settled, once he can get more of his players in, once he finds his footing, which he already really has, but once he really can find his footing in this and spend one full off season at Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now you speak everything to existence. We're gonna tell Reggie what you said. Now we're gonna tell him that you
Listen, I mess with Unc. I really do. You know, I don't want to get in trouble by any of my fellow Bulldogs because he is. Didn't he go to college at Alabama State, or am I tripping? Reggie Barlow?
He went to. I see you got
HBCU.
You got me and Mike stumped.
Now I'm over here trying to think about it. I'm like, dang.
I just remember him from NFL.
He went to Alabama State, so I can't talk to I don't want to get beat up by my fellow Bulldogs, but yeah, he's a great coach. He's a great person, and I think that they're going to be great. They're going to be great.
You heard it from Ty, y'all.
Now,
TSU fans, get ready.
I'm ready for the series now. And the same. Just I guess love our show, Coach Barlow. I will say, Coach Sam Shade.
Yes.
Damn good coach.
Yes. Good
coach. So that's going to be a great, and they go way back too. Him and Barlow, they go way back. So that's going to be great to see. But
follow that.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And anytime you want me to come back, just shoot me an email.
All right. Thank you, Ty. We really appreciate it.
Surely. Thank you. And you have a good night.
Y'all too.
See you. What a great get, Mike.
That was good, wasn't it?
What a great get, man. That
was awesome.
That's huge. That's huge, man. And good kudos to you for getting her. Of course, she didn't mention her dad's first name, but it's William Floyd. Played for Florida State, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, San Francisco 49ers, fullback. What was his nickname? Bar None? What was his nickname, Mike?
Yeah, I believe the nickname was Bar None. Yes, yes, that's the nickname. Of course, he played for a team that I like, but we this ain't an NFL show, so we don't quite go. But yeah, we'll to finish up the show, we do want to go through into a little bit of HBCU news as well, and we're gonna start it off with Tennessee State basketball kind of finalizing their staff. For aren't aware, they announced the rest of the staff. Let me just go through that real quick. We got DeMar Johnson. He's a former NBA player, actually, and spent his time coaching at West Virginia and Cincinnati. You got Vince Taylor. He spent the last 7 seasons at Central Florida. You got Delonte Hill, who's most recently at Chicago State. You got Brandon Lockridge, who's actually a holdover from the previous staff, is going to be on this staff. And the newest addition, you got Bilal Busy Joseph, who is the program's first executive director of basketball strategy and innovation, which basically it's a new role at Tennessee State where he's going to be dealing in corporate sponsorships, player brand development, and more. Which that's going to be interesting to see how that role develops. What do you think of this staff, Scott?
So he said when he came on our show, he said that he wanted to get guys. He said while he was being assistant coach, Coach K told him to start thinking about guys when you become a head coach. Remember, he didn't want to say anybody's name then, but you can look at the parallels between like the DeMar Johnsons of the world and that he had relationships with. And we're at Fisk. We're in the middle of trying to hire an assistant coach. Well, and I told Coach Crutcher, I said the most important thing, and I think this is what Coach did. Coach Smith, Coach Nolan Smith did, was get guys that he trusts, get guys that he wants to be around. And the thing that I enjoy, and you know me, I'm a Nashville guy through and through. That he kept Brandon Lockridge. I've been around Brandon Lockridge for a long time. He played at TSU. He's a guy that I think that it was a smart move for Coach Smith to keep around because he's a guy that knows TSU. He played for TSU. Even though he's been around Penny since Columbia State days, he's followed Penny around. But keeping Brandon Lockridge was huge, and having somebody on the staff from Nashville, on the staff that knows where everything is around Gentry Center, on the staff that can keep the Nashville people coming in was huge. But having guys that he knew and he trusts is the most important thing. And he did say that when he was on our show. So I'm excited about them. I'm not excited for them on November 3rd though. But after that, before that, and after that, in November 3rd is when we go. When the Mighty Bulldogs head over to the Gentry Center to play TSU for their first game. We'll have about 3 or 4 games we'll have 3 or 4 games that we've played, but we're going to be their first game, and we'll see what's going on. And it's going to be the AD Dr. Allen said they're going to have the lights turned off and the pyros going and all that. So we're excited about that as well. Hope my guys I hope they don't get shell shocked just from the starting lineups, but having that coaching staff, a strong coaching staff that you trust. But I am interested that I did read about the young man that's going to be the busy that's going to be doing those things. That's a recruiting tool as well, that you have a guy that's going to be focusing on the NILs and focusing on branding the young men and focusing on that. Now, because when I was at TSU, we did have some content guys that did it for every sport, but to have a guy to just concentrate on the basketball players, the men's basketball players, that's going to be big when you talk about recruiting as well, because that, a lot of these schools, like I think one of the first schools to do it was North Carolina, to have a general manager. When they hired Belichick, they hired a general manager, and now other schools are doing that, hiring general managers, just and running it like a business. And so that's the business now, and that's what's going on in college sports now. You got to be able to brand these guys, because if you brand them, then they're going to get money. To get money, they're going to hang around. We don't have the big pockets of TSU like other schools have, like a Texas A&M or places like that, where you have alumni with big pockets. So you got to do something to be able to set yourself apart. And I believe knowing Mickey Allen, I know that was something that he thought of, and kudos to him for that. And that's going to be interesting to have a young man like that to be able to brand them and also get them NIL deals.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting as well. Like you mentioned, and like Coach Reggie Barlow, he came around late in the process too. So it's going to be an interesting first year, and even more interesting second year as he fully gets to implement what he wants to do with the Tennessee State University program. So do we have any other HBCU news that you want to mention, or have we run out of runway?
We just had Miss Floyd on from Alabama A&M, and want to announce that today Alabama A&M's volleyball team was at Keene Hall, and they swept the Tigers, with the Tigers 3-0 in volleyball. So Alabama A&M will come to Nashville and got 2 wins already this early in the season. And talking about other HBCU news, of course, the local news, that we have the Fisk volleyball team has won 9 out of the last 11 games. This week they had they took a 4 out of the 5 player of the week in the conference. Shelby Chamberlain won newcomer and attacker of the week. Kaya Barnett was the setter of the week, and Nyla Gupton, who has done it 4 times in a row, is the defender of the week. So that's going on right now. Basketball season starting. We got. I know some people were talking about we need to talk about show Michael Vick some love and showing Deshaun Jackson some love and all that. So a lot going on in HBCU news, and a lot. You got to get out there and go to these games. And let me tell you what happened to me today. I got a phone call. Our alumni, our person that's over alumni affairs, her name is Adrian Latham. Ms. Latham called me with a gentleman and I want to challenge some of these HBCUs. This man went to all 4 HBCUs here in Nashville, but he said that he's been on his motorcycle driving the last 16 days, and he's visited 83. Fisk was the 83rd school he went to, and it's called Ride for My HBCU. And he said that he's raising money with the alumni for HBCUs, and I have more information about it. He's supposed to email me the information, but he's challenging all alumni to give to the HBCUs. He said that when he went to Wiley University in Texas, the president jumped on his bike and rode around with him. He said that a couple of schools, I can't remember the name of the schools, he mentioned really fast. One school raised $2.2 million And so I'm challenging you, Al. What he did say, no, he said 1.2. He did say that one of the alumni one of them himself gave a million, and the rest of the school gave 200,000. But that's still big, and we want to challenge each HBCU to give to your HBCU. It's called Ride My HBCU, and I think his name is Rod. I can't remember his last name, but we're going to get more information about it. He's going to email me, and we're going to get more about that out. But shout out to him for doing that, taking out the time and being very intentional about raising money for HBCUs across the country.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get that information on the next episode. But of course, this episode 7, it's in the books.
Yeah, man.
Scott, thank you for coming on, talking to Miss Thai Floyd, walking herstory, I should say.
Herstory.
Yeah. So definitely want to thank again Thai Floyd for coming on the show. Thank you, Scott, again. Hosting with me on this show, episode 7, episode 8. Be next week, and OVC Big South play starts, and the Alphabet Conference, the big bad Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles are coming to town. For folks that don't know, they beat a team, Davidson. They scored, I think they scored 72 points on them last week. And they're a really good team. So you want to go see some good football? Tennessee Tech versus Tennessee State, Nissan Stadium. Yep, definitely. For go ahead, Scott.
I want to throw a shout out to Vanderbilt football, man. Since we're in Nashville, I know they've been rolling, man. So I know that HBCU team, but they're in Nashville. So shout out to them. They're rolling.
Definitely, they are. Well, Scott, don't know if you want to tell everyone where they can find anything you do on social media, or where they can find you on social media.
SC Wallace 615. SC Wallace 615 on Instagram. I don't do that formally named Twitter anymore. But you can also find me, Scott C. Wallace, on Facebook, and that's it, right? I don't have a website like Miss Floyd. I don't have a website.
You can still find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter. I will not call it X, because the only X I recognize is DMX and Malcolm X. But you can find me on there at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82 on there, and Threads. And Blue Sky. You can find me there in Blue Sky, and you can also find me on Instagram and Threads at THA. Not THE_general_NP. I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of Let's Talk HBCUs. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of the episodes when they appear. Of course, it's at the Mike Patton Network on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning into this episode of Let's Talk HBCUs. We're out. Peace.
See y'all.